Hey, thanks for tuning in. We got a great show for you tonight. We got Nick Christopher's on. Nick's an author out of New York. We know that he wrote a great book with John Alite, Prison Rules. Mafia Ties is another great book he wrote. And he's got 4 books out there right now. He's doing great. So we got him on the show tonight. We're going to talk about these books. We'll talk about his experiences living in New York and growing up around these wise guys. It is interesting, this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Nick. Thank you.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to blame Sammy too much for what he did. You know, there's other stories behind it. But I think what happened with Sammy, he got fed up with John. He got fed up with the life. See, I try to explain that to people. You know, there's diehard gangsters would talk like Sonny and even Sparrow, all these other guys that we're talking about. They go do life sentences. That's it. And, you know, this is their life. This is what they do. But then there's the other breed now. People are just getting tired of it. And we're going to see more and more. You know, every time a bunch of guys get pinched, you got to throw dice to see who's going to rat, how many are going to rat. You know, what are the odds now?
Yeah.
It's just a different world out there. And I don't blame anybody for doing what they did, you know, and how they're moving on with their life. But it's funny, like I said, again, we're going to do a show on this tomorrow night with the former ex-mob guys like myself and doing these podcasts, the social media stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but no, at the time when Sammy did that, we also, he's a piece of shit. You know, we're all in the street, you know. But then again, we don't know what really happened between the two.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a huge fan of Sammy's, but I respect what he did actually.
Yeah.
You know, look, John was backdooring him pretty much.
Yeah, he was.
He was speaking about him back behind his back. Meantime, Sammy's doing this for him and doing that for him. And I like John. I met John Sr. once, and once or twice I met him. And he was a complete gentleman. You know, I like John for who he was. But I think Sammy was kind of left with no choice, really.
See, I felt the same way with Sammy. See, Sammy said it himself. All right, we know that John Sr. wasn't going out killing 20 people a week. We know that. Not himself, you know, we know that. But Sammy did make a statement. If John wants someone dead, he's going to be dead. So this is on Sammy's mind. You know, he sees what's going on. He's not a fool. He says, I got to make a move. He made a move. You know, again, let's go back to Barboza. Let's go back to all these guys that flipped. What were the reasons that they flipped? Because at some point, one way or another, a boss, family, whatever, went against them.
Yeah, so that's something I've always been, maybe you can answer this question. Something I've always been puzzled about in the life. And I know a lot of these guys. I grew up with a lot of them, speak to many of them. A lot of them are good friends of mine. But I've always been curious because I've seen this happen many times, just like what you just said, where you go into this life thinking this is a family.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody's supposed to look out for each other.
Right.
But yet there are incidents like the Sammy Gravano incident, like the one with Spiro or one of these other guys, that they get betrayed by their own leaders.
Yeah.
Or by their own captain or by another soldier, whatever the case may be, sometimes for some stupid reasons. And the hierarchy, the top guys, wonder why. Oh, he's a rat. He flipped. Well, do you wonder why? But why? What I'm trying to understand is in the life, more so here in America than in Sicily, than in the old country, that the loyalty is so thin when it's supposed to be more stronger. And what motivates anybody to get involved in their life when this is obvious that, you know, it's so thin that it can break at any time?
See, when I grew up, being a kid, being around these guys, I seen a different style of gangster. I seen real men, you know. And as time went on, especially in the 90s when we went through up here, it was so watered down, even at that point, you know. What it is that, listen, when I joined the mob, I really thought that, you know, we were going to change it. We were going to do something different. We're going to be men of honor. And it was all bullshit. Like, I think there was 13 people ratted on me that I knew about, you know, before I even got pinched. I had them lining up against me. And the loyalty wasn't there. And I seen when one guy went down, how fast they went to scoop his shit up. There was no loyalty in the mob. There was no family. You know, if I'm a millionaire on the street, I got 20 bookmakers. I got a loan shark business. When I go away, I'm a made guy. You know, someone's supposed to take care of that. The bosses are supposed to take care of that. The bosses are supposed to make sure that my wife and my kids are eating. You know what they do today, Kujin? I'll tell you what they do. They go and take it from you. This is what they do. This is why there's no loyalty. There's no respect anymore. Omerta is out the window. And you're going to just see more and more and more. Because the deeper that you get into this life, the deeper, and I was in real deep, I was a boss, right? The more you could see how treacherous it is. And how the people around you that you think that you love, how treacherous they are towards you. And it all comes, a lot of this comes down to greed. It really does, Nick. And it's sad.
It is. There's a guy I know, a good friend of mine. His name is Billy Culotta.
Yeah.
Culotta Jones. He was Wild Bill's son.
Yep.
He was with the Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
And during the war, I'm sure you remember the Colombo War with the Persico.
Yep.
With my friend Vic Arena, the one I told you about, used to come to my dad's store.
Yeah, I know Vic Arena, yeah.
And here, when Wild Bill got killed, and the guy that was next to Wild Bill, my God, his name escapes me right now for some crazy reason, but the guy was his I think his Goomba. Like he was the best man at his wedding. This guy, after he kills Wild Bill, sets him up, he comes to his house and is looking. He was telling his wife he's looking for something, and he was trying to look in every corner to see where Wild Bill's money is.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about it. That's excuse my term, my language, but that's kind of fucked up. You go to the guy's wife's house after he got killed to go look for his money.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Listen, this is what it's about now. It's all about self-preservation. No one cares. It's not about the family. It's about $1. It's about $1. The only boss on the street that I could see is really getting taken care of is Joey Merlino. If he still is, because they had such a tight crew and close friends since they were kids. That crew always looked out for each other, you know? No matter what they say about the Philly guys or what they say about Joey, they were men of honor with each other. And that's what I respected about them.
Well, Joey's an interesting character.
He is.
He's a king manipulator, that guy. Forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
His recent trial, how he was able to squirm his way out of that one he only did what? He only did a year pinch?
Yeah, he did short time. Yeah.
I mean, how do he manage that one? It's amazing.
I know. He's something, man.
He's a character, boy.
I'll tell you.
I got to give him credit.
I'll tell you, for the small family down there, and I was part of it. I was one of his capos. Very charismatic. Everybody loved Joey, you know. I would go, we went to the mall one time, and there was some black kids down there. They seen Joey. And you know me, I'm 6 feet tall, 250. They said, can we go touch him? They wanted to go touch him. I said, no. come on, keep going. I told the kids, but it's amazing how much they love them down there. It's just different there,
But isn't Skinny sort of like John Senior, where he likes the spotlight too?
Well, I talked, I talked with that George Anastasia and David. We were talking about that. It's like they brought that on Joey. I don't think Joey set out to do that in the beginning, but he always had the cameras on him. They had that wall with Stanford. He just became popular. And like I said, he is charismatic. You know that. Yeah, he's a sharp kid, or man, I should say now. And, the cameras just attracted him. And that was it. I think now, yeah, I think maybe he likes the showboat a little still. I think that. I think he loves being Joey Merlino. Like I love being Bobby Luisi. He can't lie about that, I'm a little more humble now, but yeah, now I think it's too late for Joey. He's a celebrity gangster, and that's what it's going to be now,
But he lost his place in Florida, right? He lost the restaurant.
Yeah, he lost the restaurant, but he's still down there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he lost his restaurant. I went by there when I was down there. I drove. I haven't seen Joey since me and Joey got pinched on the same day. Joey and I, with our guys. I haven't seen any of them since then. I know they don't want to see me. I don't want to see them. But I do miss them.
Right. Well, there was another guy that was with Stanford during Merlino's time, and he became unknowingly to them he was a cop. This like
Ronnie Previty, that's the guy that Ronnie Previty's the one that got me, Nick.
Oh, really? Okay, wow.
Yeah, Joey brought him back around, and eventually he came up to Boston. They set up an FBI sting up there with me because the FBI told me at that time they couldn't even get close to me. I was really careful, and every time they were sending people at me, they were striking out because I had a solid crew around me. And finally they got, because Joey made Ronnie a capo. I don't know how, but he made him a capo. He's the boss. And then Ronnie was able to speak with me. And that's how I got jammed up.
Wow. But wasn't Ronnie under Stanford at first?
He was under Stanford.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but Joey took him back in the fold. And that's what happened.
Okay. So I guess, did you ever, maybe you were too young, maybe, I don't know, but with Little Nicky?
No, those guys were all going. I didn't go down there till the 90s, till the mid-90s.
Oh, okay.
By the time I got there, Stanford, all them guys were already pinched.
Right.
The war in Boston was slowing down, and the war in Philly was slowing down.
Right.
When I got together with Joey.
Well, you're probably fortunate because SCARFO was a psycho.
Oh, I know. I know he was.
Yeah.
Paranoid guy. Yeah.
Oh, get it. Because he was like in the Philly crew in my book also. When I talk about Philadelphia, I mentioned SCARFO, of course. I mentioned him. I mentioned a couple of guys from Philly. Leonetti. I mentioned him too. And how they were connected with the Greek guys. There was a Greek crew in Philly also. And there was this guy Harry Petros and Steve Budas. And they ran the PCP tray in South Philly.
Okay.
And they were big in that. And loan sharking, gambling, all that shit. And they used to kick up to Angelo Bruno when Angelo was forced. But after Angelo got whacked, Little Nicky came in the picture. And Little Nicky sent guys out to the Greek guys and said, okay, we gotta upgrade the street tax. And the Greek guys were like, nah, I don't think so. I've been paying this much all this time. Why am I gonna change now?
Right.
Basically, it's something to go fuck themselves, basically. Of course, Little Nicky didn't like that, obviously. So he took both of the Greek bosses. One in a restaurant in South Philly, and actually one of the shooters was Little Nicky's son. And then the other guy, they found him in the trunk of a car.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't play with Nicky or that crew at that time.
Oh, no kidding.
No, he was a bad guy. Bad,
Yeah,
bad
he
guy.
was extremely paranoid,
Yeah,
like you said, just like Gaspar Castle in New York.
yeah.
Paranoid guy.
Paranoia destroys a lot of these guys, Bo. You know? It
Oh,
destroys
yeah,
a lot of these guys.
It's a scary time to want to be on the street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Well, we're approaching about an hour now, my friend. I think close to an hour, you know? And I want you to talk a little more before we go. I want you to talk a little more about your books, if that's okay, Nick.
yeah. Well, my first book, Destinies, is published by a publisher here in New York,
Okay.
and which I'm right now working with a production company to make it to a movie.
Oh, that's great.
I'm working on that right now. My second book was the one I did with Johnny A, Prison Rules. The third book was the Mafia Ties book about the Greek mob, which I self-published, but now it's going to get republished by a Canadian publisher, Coastal West Publishing, probably in the next month or two. And my fourth one is part 2 of my first book, Destinies Part 2. So those are the 4 I've got on Amazon and Barnes and Noble websites, wherever you can find them. And if anybody wants one of the copies, they can get it straight from me, and I can sign it for them. They can just, email me if I can mention my email address, if that's okay.
Yeah. Go ahead. I got your email. I can put that link on. Also, I see you have a website.
Yes.
Can they get in touch with you through the website?
Yeah, either way, or email me if they're interested in a signed copy, and we can make arrangements. No problem.
Right, that sounds good. I'll put that link in. I'm gonna set all that up for you. Put all that links in for you.
Yeah.
All your books, and I think that's great. Man, I thank you so much for coming on the show today, Nick. This was a great show. And I hope the audience is going to learn a lot from this show, that's for sure. Yeah, with your knowledge and information, that was great. And like I said, I'll post everything. I'll put everything up there in the description so they can go right to the links. Yeah, especially Mob Ties. I think that's, they're going to want to read that. There's a lot of people.
Pretty unique. Yeah, very different.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great book. I like the guys that are in it, the things you talk about. You're dead on with a lot of that stuff. That's really good,
Thanks.
But again, I want to thank you for coming on.
I thank you for having me. I thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll do this again, Nick.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, brother.